Okay, welcome everybody to another edition of Autonomy Quest. You all know me, James Cordiner. I'm here with Jerry Tappan. Jerry is what season are you, Jerry? Sorry,
7.
season 7 graduate, Jerry, and he also in whatever free time he has, he works as a video editor, as an event host. He's a man of many hats behind the scenes here at Autonomy. You can also catch him on the bi-weekly or weekly live streams with Chris Jansen, who's also an Autonomy graduate. So they kind of team up on a podcast together. And so without any further ado, Jerry, how's it going, buddy?
Thanks, James. I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well for a Friday. Yeah. So with Autonomy Quest, with how these things usually go, I usually like to start out with like a really simple question. We get to know you a little bit, and we work through, your experience with autonomy up to like what you're up to these days, a little bit more into the details of that, more detail than I gave in your introduction. I like to ask everybody, what was your life before autonomy? How did you hear about autonomy? And what about that did it make it sound like it was for you?
Well, that's an excellent question, James. So, my life before autonomy was pretty much going down the downward spiral, right? Because I was in the military and I wasn't very happy for many reasons. I suffered from depression, anxiety. Not that I still don't have anxiety, but like I can manage it now, which is like I couldn't even fathom that beforehand. And yeah, I wasn't very social. I went from a social being to an antisocial being, and well, yeah, I wasn't really liked by some coworkers. I wasn't doing the best job I could. I was drinking a lot. I got into trouble because I was drinking too much. I wouldn't show up to work sometimes because I had blacked out, or I just had that lack of care to showing up to go out to sea for about a week because I would just rather drink a beer and talk to people, some strangers. And yeah, that's how my life was going in a nutshell before autonomy. And COVID 19, the pandemic happened, and I was in quarantine. I just remember being in quarantine, but yeah, actually, I came across I'm plant-based, so I was kind of like looking up some of that stuff and came across a rap song about veganism, and so that was like the start of my enlightenment, kind of just thinking outside of the box, and that plus cutting out alcohol was like the beginning of it, and listening to Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, all that jazz. And anyways, in this rap song, the rapper Diesel Automatic, he had a song called Natural Law with Joe Murray. So I just asked, what is natural law? It really hooked me. So I looked it up on the YouTube and came across Mark Passio's 8-hour seminar. I think that's what stood out to me, the length or something. I just said, all right, let's watch this, see what it's about. And from the beginning, Richard Grove actually filmed that, and I just was, man, this guy's amazing. Like this guy, I can tell he's a good guy. And then come to find out, anyways, yeah, I went to his website, whatonearthishappening.com, eventually, and I felt like I could trust him, uh, not just because he's vegan, but everything he was saying, I was like, holy smokes, like this is like my awakening process because before autonomy, I was selfish, and I remember getting the jab because I asked my dad what he would do if he was me, and he would get it. So I stopped doing that now. I make my own decisions. I use a trivia method to find out the truth. But my mom, she was upset with me for getting it, and she was talking about Bill Gates or some shit, and to me it just seemed like far out, like what are they talking about? But in this period I actually wanted to find answers for myself, and that's when I dove deep into Mark's work. And on his website, he has the autonomy banner. And at that time, I also wanted to go to college after 5 years in the military. That was the reason why I joined the military, to go to college for free and essentially become a medic or something. And yeah, anyways, after 5 years, I decided, all right, now I'm gonna go to college. Like, this is what I'm doing. But with the COVID, I don't know. Came across autonomy, and it just seemed like something I wanted to do. Learning about entrepreneurship, becoming an entrepreneur. I worked in jobs such as bus boying, dishwashing for years. I did some light landscaping, but it was like all physical labor. And I also moved boxes at a warehouse for Kohl's. And yeah, I knew in my head I wanted to be my own boss. And listening to rap and all that stuff, like, oh yeah, like, be your own boss. Like, that's what I wanted to do. I knew I had the potential. So anyways, I came across autonomy and I said, man, this is really intriguing. And I pretty much read the whole landing page like in one sitting, just clicked all the call to action buttons, seeing where it would take me. It would take me to the 19 essential skills not taught in school that you need. And then I read that, and I mean, I took a lot from it, especially in the course, seeing another student say he reads that every day or something. I was like, man, I gotta set my game up. But yeah, just learning so much from autonomy, like words I didn't know. That's something I didn't do before, is look up definitions of words I didn't understand. And now that's something I just do because I want to understand. I want to broaden my vocabulary. And autonomy gave that to me, man. It gave me like a brand new life that is just like, I did not know this existed. So I was really excited to join autonomy. And I was living in Okinawa, Japan at the time. And, me being silly, sometimes, I stood up late that night when I booked my blueprint call, and I said, I'm gonna take a little nap, and didn't put an alarm or something because I said, I'm gonna wake up. Come to find out, bam, I missed the meeting. And I'm like, oh no, my shot has gone. And I sent Lisa a message. I said, I'm so sorry, I will not do that again. Can we reschedule? And I felt bad for having to waste her time. But she gave me another opportunity, and I made sure I attended that one. And she was really cool. I was like, holy smokes, man, she's like, I want to be like her. She communicates very well, and like, she is in autonomy, and like, she's got her stuff together. And so I was just like, man, just get me in, right? Hopefully they'll let me in because, I'm in the military and these guys are freedom minded. And when I got in the course, I was actually kind of scared because I was in the military. I didn't know how people would kind of react to me or treat me. Listening to Mark, going through his podcast talking about the order followers, he went hard, and which is something I needed to hear. So I was expecting something like that. But no, Richard is super kind and gentle, and I was like, oh man, that's it's like pressure reliever. So yeah, to answer your question, before autonomy, I wasn't in a good place due to life circumstances, but now I'm in a much better place.
So, sorry, I got distracted there. I thought I heard something coming in the door. How are you doing with like the anxiety and all of that these days?
I welcome it as an opportunity to grow. And I don't have it as much anymore because like my mental, what's in here, it's full of good stuff. I'm not worrying about the little things anymore. I'm working on myself, essentially take out the good, I mean the bad, and just have greatness inside of me. And living like that, it becomes a habit, and just that positive self-talk It's like if I do have anxiety, I'm like, look, this is temporary. It's not even gonna phase me anymore. And when you know that, it's very empowering. And that's what autonomy teaches, to empower yourself and empower the world.
How much of a relief was it when you came to the realization that like not everybody in this freedom movement and community is so harsh about in their rhetoric when it comes to people that were in your position at the time of you joining?
It was a very great stress reliever. Kind of doing the interview exercises in autonomy and having to explain that. I always felt kind of bad because I'm like the bad guy. I'm like, fuck, I'm on the wrong team at the moment. And so yeah, I just they didn't really say anything to me. They were just like, "Oh, that's cool, man. Like, are you gonna get out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, once my contract ends." So there was no problems at all. They were living their life and striving to be autonomous, and I wanted to be autonomous too. So I was learning in the military, which was I was just so happy for that opportunity, and I don't want it to go to waste because, as you mentioned earlier, James, when at least I'll talk for myself. If I was the same person I was before autonomy, I might have been, not, I wouldn't have been allowed to be in the community. But given the opportunity, I don't want it to go to waste. I want to take my life seriously and to strive for goals and take care of myself, my family, and the world, really.
Have you you mentioned that your mom was upset about you getting the boop boop. Um, have has that put this is like I'm sorry, but have you been able to reconnect with her and smooth things over with her about that?
Yeah, I think she just sort of was upset because she wished I would have consulted her before. Maybe she would have given me information to me to hear
Yeah.
and all that stuff. When she said that, I was just like, well, it's too late. But I don't think we've touched on that before. I mean, afterwards, I think she knows where I stand now. I've told her, look, I'm anti-authoritarian now. Except, I mean, I have ownership over myself, and the rest, they're free beings. We should not enslave each other. I don't think she understands that, but she knows that. I think she knows that I wouldn't do that again if today.
So you mentioned that you wanted to be your own boss. Okay. I'm curious, like when you joined Autonomy, what were some of the things that really surprised you about the course, and how are you applying the things that you learned in the course to your life today?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, for example, with the vlogging, I mean, I just started hosting the vlogging course. I'm no expert, but hey, I'll give it a shot. And it's helping me think about vlogging. Oh, that's something I wouldn't have done before. It's giving me confidence to host a meeting. I hosted, let's see, since the guys program started and after in season 8, I hosted a mastermind, and this is my first year not hosting one. But I am in a mastermind with Chris Jansen, so not hope is not lost.
No.
But it's giving me confidence, saying, look, I can host a meeting, I can facilitate that, I can I respect myself. I only hang out with people who are striving for better, not people who are stuck in a rut. And I mean, not stuck in a rut, just like in bringing you down.
Yeah.
And so I can kind of basically filter out the negativity, people who I shouldn't surround myself with, and really helping people, just being of service. It may, at the grocery store, I'll give the bagger, here's a tip, right? It's like giving freely, it's helped me in that regard to have a lighter heart.
Well, you're not in Japan anymore either, are you?
Oh no, I'm not. I left Okinawa in 2022 in September.
Yeah. Now you're in Central America, is that right?
I'm in Merida, Yucatan, Mexico now.
Okay, cool. And down there, like you're like a lot on your own, or what's up with that down there?
Yeah, I just moved out on my own just now. Found a room here. It's a great place. The location is, but I have everything I need. So I think this is the beginning of an amazing journey, being out on my own for real this time. And just being smart, I have to know how to essentially take care of myself, which is something I wish I had done a long time ago. Because my parents, like, they cooked for me a lot. So I would always just kind of go down, receive the plate. Oh, sorry about that. The internet issues.
No, you're good. You're coming through loud and clear.
All right, cool. What was the last thing you heard?
That you are like breaking free from being, dependent on your parents and
Okay, so yeah, I was saying that, for example, now I'm cooking for myself, which is something I didn't do at my parents' house. Uh, I kind of realized like I was docile. That's something I don't want, you know?
right.
I think the roles should reverse now. I should help my parents out, not be relying on them. And that's something that autonomy teaches. Hey, like, go out on your own, like, stop the extended adolescence and really become an adult. It's much needed in these times of chaos. And yeah, the world needs me to step up. I need to step up for myself and just be a member for my community, online and offline. But yeah, this location, I started doing jujitsu,
Oh,
and
cool.
yeah, and I keep referencing autonomy. It really taught me how to learn anything. So now I'm kind of going hard with jujitsu. I'm like, look, I know I got to put the reps in, not be afraid of failure. That's how I learn. So as a white belt, I'm just constantly getting submitted, and I'm just like, oh, let's do it again. And I'm much better now than I was yesterday. So, anywho, there's a dojo in front of this room, so that is amazing. I have everything I need around me, and the internet good enough to be on this call.
Jerry, when I first met you, I could tell that, like, when you used to join me on my live streams, this for all you guys in the audience, this was before I was even in autonomy. Jerry used to join me on my live streams. I used to do on Saturday nights. He and I met through Chris Jansen. Chris Jansen and I have been friends for a couple of years. And Jerry, I just want to like point out and just like tell you how personally proud I am of you because of my witness to the development that you've had in being more, or I'm sorry, being less antisocial, being so much like more able to speak and to find your voice and to find your footing in an odd environment. And I just wanted to draw attention to that and just congratulate you on all the progress that you've made. Because when you first started joining me on my live streams, I'd be like, so Jerry, what do you think? And you'd be like, you're not doing like the uhs and the ums as much or at all anymore. And I thought that it would be nice to acknowledge that I personally have seen that development, and that's freaking awesome, dude. Congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate that, James, and I want to give a shout out to Renee who's in here because witnessing her speak freely during the Q&As inspires me to do the same. So it's about, hey, getting rid of the junk, all that negative self-talk. When I communicate, because I still have that in some sense. It's like, oh, should have took longer. I have to like work on that. And it's like, oh, when to stop talking. But I'm working through the kinks. But someone like Renee is an awesome example to just
Thank
speak
you.
your
Thank
truth,
you,
right?
Jerry. I so appreciate you bringing that. Yeah, sometimes I feel maybe I talk too much, but if it's inspiring you and anyone else to just put it out there and, just the heck with it. So if somebody's not going to like it or somebody's going to judge you, well, that's the way it is.
Yeah, I feel like those that like you will like you regardless of, they like you for who you are, not someone who you pretend to be. So something I stopped doing when I joined Autonomy. And yeah, I just lost a thought. So I'll pass it back to you, James.
Oh yeah, man. I thank you. But like, but we can move into like the open discussion portion of this now. I mean, unless you have anything else that you'd like to say, Jerry. I mean, to me, it's as clear as day the amount of growth that you've been able to go and accomplish with your time in autonomy. It's a little difficult for me to sit here and ask you questions just because I've seen it's so like I don't know. I apologize for that, but I'd like to open up the room for open discussion now where other people can ask you questions perhaps better than I can. But I am very proud of you, dude, and I've seen the growth and whether or not you've seen it in yourself, others have seen it, and you should be very proud of yourself, man. Congratulations.
Jerry, could you tell us about your transition in your career?
Oh, yeah, you're gonna like this one. So when I was in the military, right, and going through the What on Earth is Happening podcast, it just hit a point, after hearing repeatedly, get out of your cult. And I'm just like, all right, bro, am I gonna do this? And it's really that self-reflection. And because I tell you, I didn't really save money at all in the military. I actually, wasn't, I'm in debt. I'm still in debt. But back then, when I transitioned out of the military, I was in debt. And I'm not blaming my father at all, but I really leaned on him for advice. And his advice was, yeah, use your credit card, and I, was absolutely not responsible with it, and now I'm reaping the rewards. But anyways, I decided to get out. What the hell with it? Because it was the right thing to do. And yeah, I essentially smoked CBD in order to get kicked out, which I'm fine with. And they did kick me out. And I just, my plan was I'm going to live with my parents until I figure things out. In Mexico, things are cheaper than the United States, so I think things should work out. So this was in September of 2022. I arrived to my parents' house, and I was in autonomy at the time, right? So I'm like, look, I have everything I need to succeed. There's no excuses, really. And I was in an accountability group, which really helped me, just talking with people I can talk to freely. And after season 7, when I graduated, I was asked to become a guide, and I also saw an opportunity to join Autonomy Unlimited. So I applied. Actually, I'm sorry, this was in Japan when this happened. So I applied to Autonomy Unlimited, and I remember my heart beating fast during the interview. I was like, oh man, am I good enough for this? And Richard said, good job. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And anyways, I was on the job training for 6 months, around 6 months, just sort of doing tasks such as, hey, what was the task? Something about spreadsheets, right? I think they gave me a task which was like, all right, this simple task, and I just was like, I have to go hit a home run. And I just really did basically what is now the Autonomy library is I copied the link to Richard, every single video of Richard, everything he's done on the internet, and put that on the spreadsheet. So you could see all his content on this one spreadsheet. And it took me a little bit, but
Mhm.
you know, with determination, I got it done eventually. And I was just doing tasks like that. Hey, I was like an online, what do you call it, assistant per se. And just doing little tasks like those, attending weekly meetings, just hearing the copywriter talk about what she did this week, and then the social media manager, and just because I knew nothing about entrepreneurship beforehand, and that's what really intrigued me about autonomy. Oh, I can learn this. Like these skills actually pay the bills. So I guess, I had a fear of making mistakes, right? So I was, basically a fly on the wall in a lot of these meetings. I'm gonna fast forward now though, like I don't know, like a year maybe later, Leah comes in the picture, and she becomes executive director or some role like that, and she's attending these meetings, and she brings me in. And there was a time in autonomy where I had this negative self-talk, and I just, was drinking and not being productive. And I talked with Leah, and I was in a time of need, and she basically reached out her hand and gave me an opportunity to work with her. And I'm not perfect. I'm still working my kinks out, but I do want to strive to be the better version of myself. And yeah, I've been working with her ever since. I, stopped drinking alcohol as much. At least I haven't drank in, I don't know, a couple months now, because I told my mom I wouldn't. And yeah, I just want to be a man of my word. I don't like, so just by doing that, my life has improved. It's skyrocketed. But yeah, now I cut clips for Grand Theft World, which I'm blessed because that keeps a roof over my head. And I do some work with autonomy behind the scenes, such as edit this video right now. I'll do the post-production and to other videos of that sort. But it's really turned my life 180.
Did you have any of those skills when you joined Autonomy?
Oof. Not the entrepreneurial ones. The only skills I had was basically putting my nose to the grindstone and working until the thing is done. And that's basically my skill, and it's helped me out a lot.
And now you do copywriting, video editing, project management, and you do quite a bit as well for Autonomy and Grand Theft World. It's pretty incredible.
I second that because if you don't mind, I want to congratulate you, Jerry, because you were one of the first people who I spoke with after I joined Autonomy. You requested an integration exercise with me. And of course, I was so pleased to meet you and so forth. And I remember, well, obviously you have stopped drinking because you are so much more present. You are fluid. It's been an incredible transformation, and I can just really hand it to you in your achievement, because I know it had to have been a challenge. Here you've made such incredible changes coming from the service, and then yeah, so it's been remarkable. But I just see in your pattern, your speech, you're just so much more free and comfortable. So again, I know with definitely James and Leah, congratulations in the transformation that you were presenting. Quite remarkable. Applause.
Yeah, I learned all those skills in autonomy, Leah, and I'm still learning them. So hopefully, I'm like Phoenix one day where I'm like, look, I just made $5 million for this company, and just give the best testimonial to autonomy.
Well, I just got a new term to describe you to our team, and I've been calling you the glue guy. You're the guy that keeps it all put together on the back end, who does all of these incredible tasks, and you're reliable and you hit it out of the park every single day.
I try to be, that's but like I know in autonomy, it's like family, man. It's like working with family, and I couldn't be really happier.
Did you stop learning? Have you stopped learning?
I don't learn enough. Like, I'm a daily learner, but I still can learn a lot more. But yeah, there's good things to come
Are those opportunities around you?
everywhere. Everywhere. It's it's the autonomy. That's like I feel like I've graduated because now I see opportunity everywhere. I know that I'm the only one who can help myself, and I pitched you an offer earlier, Leah, and that took courage for me. But I know I can do that again, and help businesses and people in need.
That's amazing. And can I tell you, I've seen you in so many integration exercises spin up different characters. And today I got the real Jerry story, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's good things to come, Leah. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I was gonna bring up Mark Passio's podcast, and what his message is to let's put out some content to, spread the message of liberty. But autonomy is the same thing. It's working with like-minded individuals and growing freedom.
Yeah, your philosophy, your transformation in your philosophical understanding is also pretty phenomenal as well.
Thanks. I have to read the Go Right, Be Right or Go Wrong. I've read it the first couple of pages. So good.
No, I know it's so good. Thanks for checking that out.
You're welcome. Is there any questions from the audience?
What season did you graduate, Jerry?
Season 7 with Jill Jensen. Yeah.
Yeah, well, again, congratulations. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe we've been in the same season, but no, you were ahead. So wonderful.
I've been attending. It's funny, right? It's like you have all these past graduates who still attend the lectures and Q&As. So yeah, one might just say, "Oh, I thought you were with me in this, I thought you were a new student." So no, I'm old. No.
No, the thing is that you have made it your family, and that's again commendable. You're committed.
Yeah, I think you too, Renee. You're in the guides program. You're, doing amazing things in the community, hosting your event, which I wanted to partake in, but just the time isn't right at the moment. Uh, but yeah, you've inspired me to learn juggling because I feel like I juggle a lot. But
Well, that's part of it. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
and yeah, not to mention, I met Chris Jansen in Autonomy, and without that happening, I might have never came across James Cordner and Leah Bone. It's I'm excited because I think Leah, you brought up in a meeting if we should play Mark Passio's seminar before next season, and that's something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's something that we did last season. We did the alternate history lesson with John Taylor Gatto. So we have a Friday night lecture, even though it's an alternate lecture, and that engages people. And we invited people who joined Autonomy Quest to join us for that lecture. So we're gonna maybe put that on the table for in between seasons 12 and 13 to watch Mark Passio's natural law seminar 1 hour at a time. It might be pretty good.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, then the Q&A afterwards.
Right. Right. Like yeah. Yeah, I imagined like a discussion, like kind of like a book club, but seminar club type
Yeah,
thing for a
it's
while.
foundation. Yeah, it's foundational knowledge.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
yeah, talk about changing your worldview and your philosophy.
Oh man, I mean, I'm right there with Jerry. The first time I ever saw the natural law seminar Mark put on back in the day, my mind was just I was just blown. Like, oh wow, all of that makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
It was like a hidden knowledge within me that like I knew, but I couldn't know, but I knew it. Is like intuitive, like intuition was telling me, like, oh, you know, you've known this all along. Like, yeah, there is, all that stuff that he goes over in that, in such great detail. It just
You
hits
get
you
to
right.
reconcile a lot of internal conflicts that you don't that seem like gray areas in
Yeah.
morality. And when you learn that language and you learn that information, all of those things work themselves out, and you have a very strong and clear vision of how to take action and in life, and how to negotiate yourself with other people and your interactions with everything you do. It changes dramatically, and it
Oh, yeah.
creates a whole different life for you because you plug into the spiritual laws of the universe, and you change the vibration of how you interact with reality and other people, and it makes your life so much better when you do that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
The
It-
can I interrupt here? Is the natural law Passio series, is that on the library available at any time? Anybody?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on it's in one of our it's part of our integration exercises. I'd have to check what week it is, but it could be next week even. It's right in the library
Mhm.
in your integration exercises. I can send you a link for it. I'll be happy to do that.
Right?
Yeah, it's in total, it's 9 hours in total. 3
Oh,
sections though.
yeah,
So
I just added it to the Pro Media. If you go to the Pro Media course, I just added that as in the extras. I added all 3 of those videos that there as well.
Good.
That is amazing. I think everyone should watch that. Though, yeah, that seminar. And we also got the lecture coming up in about an hour, so I'm looking forward to that. It's the directing our potential, I want to say.
Jerry, you were in my discussion group last night, right?
Just for a little bit, Barry. Had to cut out because yeah, got to work.
And
How'd it go?
I thought it went fabulously. And accomplished first one. I'm looking forward to some more.
How many do you plan on doing?
It depends on the response. I mean, I have some 20,000 categories. Probably takes to get through 21 last night. It took an hour and a half. So,
Well, Jerry, I guess he's going to keep you in work.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're a fabulous team member. And I noticed one thing about you is that you try to do everything. And I think that was your success in working your way up through the ranks of being an autonomy freelancer, because you started by volunteering for things. In the guides program, people volunteer, and in exchange, they get taught skills and they get special programs. But I noticed that you just ask, I'll do it. At some point, I have to say, please don't volunteer, Jerry. You have enough things. Other people need to try to do things. But by doing that, you established yourself and built your skills, built your connections, you built your reliability. And that's how you have the contracts that you have now with autonomy, because you never gave up and you always tried to do everything you could do to build your skills and help out where help was needed.
Yeah, also with the interpersonal relationships, I think if there's, hey, maybe a conflict of some sort, there's always a solution to resolve that. So it's been great working with you, Leah, and with the Autonomy team. Big shout out to them for sure.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool team. I think I feel so blessed just having you guys as a team. It's incredible.
James, I mean, you have like a great job, man, just hosting these meetings like every Friday, talking to amazing autonomizers, picking their brain, man. You must gain a lot of value out of doing this.
Well, thank you, Jerry. Yeah, it's definitely been an experience for sure, being, on the mic a little bit more often toward the end of this season of Autonomy Quest, and being able to ask more questions and be here, a little more involved in some of the events than maybe the rest of the, previous 12 months that I've been a part of Autonomy. And, Leah, a team is only as strong as its leader. So we really owe you a huge thanks for the amount of effort and the amount of patience and the amount of drive that you have. And we emulate that in our, so thank you for being you. And yeah.
Thanks, James. And hey, what's a leader without a team?
Exactly.
So it's pretty good.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun being more involved with some of the events here. It gives me some a revived passion for this. I always love asking people questions, and but like, you and I already having like a relationship out of autonomy, it's like hard for me to like stay focused on autonomy questions, because I just want to talk to you, my friend Jerry. Like,
I remember James, I don't know what happened, but because I was already in autonomy and I fell in love with it, and take a shot for every time I say autonomy. But you put out, I don't know, you said, hey, donate so I can join autonomy. And I was like, I have to donate to James because it would help. I mean, you would be great in the community. And I don't know, I just kind of put that motion into effect. And then I saw you in the course. I was like, oh, that's amazing, dude. But
well, you were literally the only person that, you know, so thank you for that. And, you know, and all the company that you used to keep me on Saturday nights was always fun.
yeah, I mean, I remember, and during that stream, like at the end, I interrupted you of some sort, and I felt some type of way. And after I kept thinking to myself, like, man, you gotta stop interrupting people. Like it breaks the flow of the conversation and it makes it awkward. And I would beat myself up over that with a bat. But I don't do that anymore. I've outgrown those problems, and now I'm just like, look,
What do you mean,
like,
like the beating yourself up part or the interrupting part?
yeah, but both, because
Okay.
I can see clearer now. Like I can see the facts of the situation. Like, look, not a big deal. Like, yes, you don't want to interrupt people, but if you do it, all right, just, move on. And I I love your interviews, bro. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. When you were working out in autonomy though, like the integration exercises and everything must have had a huge impact on your communication skills.
Dude, my first integration exercises, I was scared. My chest was beating, but like Leah said, I would kind of volunteer for everything. And a lot of that was because I was, listening to David Goggins and Navy SEALs
Yeah.
and how they just volunteer. So I was in that mindset, like I have to volunteer to get ahead, you know? And that's why in autonomy, I guess I volunteered for everything, but I've outgrown that. That problem. Oh, like I'm doing too much. It's a real thing. Like I got too
Yeah.
much on my plate, and yeah, I think I've outgrown that. I before I say yes to something, I consider it.
Good.
There was something I just volunteered for recently, which is onboarding new students, and in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, I should do this, like, and but then I stopped myself and I said, I'm gonna think this through. But yeah, I just kind of I still went with it.
Well, it's good that you're recognizing that in yourself because then it helps you set limits, and setting those limits and not saying yes doesn't mean you're saying no. It just means you're not saying yes. And that helps you with the things that you've said yes to stay in integrity with the things you've already agreed to do. So like that's an amazing, leap, leaps and bounds when it comes to, what have I taken on? Is it enough? No. Okay, maybe a little bit more. Has it become too much? No, but I'm right there at the edge. Don't do any more. Being able to know that you the limits of your own ability, like it's an amazing thing, self-knowledge, all that great stuff.
Yeah, and I want to make a point real quick because I think I shouldn't have waited that long to say, oh yeah, I want to do this. Um, but yeah, I guess I can wait that long to make a decision, which is good. And but anyways, like Leah said, volunteering is how I'm here today on Quest. So super blessed for that. I know Leah, volunteering helped her a ton in her career.
Why I'm
And
here at Autonomy. They're volunteering. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
what do you volunteer for or have volunteered in the past for?
I've volunteered for Mark Passio for 7 years. And I learned all the skills I have now by doing that. And then I learned it from Autonomy, how to take those skills to the market. And that's exactly what I did.
You're someone that the elite don't want around. So big shout out to you, Leah.
We all are, Jerry, I think.
Everyone in this room is.
About to say it's like a
Wow.
prerequisite for
Exactly.
you don't find yourself here by being a part of their crew. Oh man. So I mentioned earlier that you're involved with Chris Jansen and his podcast. How often do you find yourself on camera to an audience of like strangers?
Well, last night I was on one. He did a show on the parables of Jesus, part two,
Yeah.
and he's doing a thing where he wants to get more people involved, right? We have this Telegram group of the One Great Work Warriors, which I've been a part of. I think we're hitting 2 years in November, and we do a monthly video on, for example, we're gonna record the last Tuesday of this month on uh, voting is violence or something like that. But I mean, voting for politicians. So anyways, in that group, he wants to get more people involved during his weekly live streams. So he asked, "Hey, does anybody have any ideas for parables of Jesus?" And I did a little bit of research, and I found the parable of the Good Samaritan, and I sent it to him. And he decided to do a show on that last night, and he brought me in as a shadow host because he thinks he can, I guess, be more present without doing all the clicks and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I said, "Look, let's do this." And so there's about 5 to 8, 10 people, on the internet. And I was there on camera for a little bit, He asked me a question, I respond, and then he brought more people in, so I kind of went in the background. But yeah, I don't do that often. Yeah, I don't do it often.
Just often enough. You're always there when I jump in with Chris and the gang. I always count on you to be there.
Okay, so now you're a shadow host too.
Yeah.
Gots to be, I'm gonna get better Wi-Fi connection, better equipment to be able to shadow host for autonomy one day.
You heard it here, folks.
Cement and stone. Yeah, this has been great, guys. I've loved this so far, and just the audience has been amazing listening, and I want to get to know you guys more. So maybe we'll do an integration exercise if I have the time. And yeah, there's Michael. I love Michael. Doc. A lot of good friends here. So for those who are watching this in the replay, hey, consider autonomy. I think it's a good thing. Don't be afraid. Come into the light.
John Tiggy is going to shadow host tonight. It's his very first time doing it. He's been training for 2 seasons.
Is his first time?
Yeah. He's going to shadow host the Friday night lectures.
Seeing the chat on Discord, for example, Jane just saying, break a leg. I love that about autonomy, just the support we have for each other. I'm super stoked for tonight, Leo.
Me too.
And not to say that I think at this time, I think a meeting just ended 10 minutes ago, learning learning OBS. And I was in that meeting last or 2 weeks ago. It's too good, too good. You're muted, Renee. On Zoom.
Okay. Anyway, I was there for a part of it, and it's well, for me it is a challenge. And it's brilliant. Of course, Martin is a genius, definitely. And so is John Tiggy. So it's wonderful that we have such talent and that they're willing to share. Of course, I'm lost, and I need to be there several more times to get it. But I've stepped into it. Eventually, maybe I'll consider shadow hosting, but yesterday it was what was that? Discord, and today, so for me, it's a stretch to learn the digital. It's just not been my favorite thing. I'd much rather hire someone to do it. So I'm still in that mode.
But when you learn what all of the different parts are, you can hire people competently.
Yes, I'm aware of that. If I have a foundation or an idea as to what's going on, it will make things easier because then we're speaking the same language and rather than me having, a communication in or trying to understand Russian or Chinese.
Perfect. And for everyone who doesn't know, they're talking about OBS shadow host
Mhm.
training, and we offer that to in the guides program. They get some very high level advanced training for those that want to learn how to shadow host to be part of autonomy shadow hosting. So that meeting happens. It's been happening on Fridays right now, but it's pretty advanced and it's pretty cool. So they teach them how to use OBS, which is a broadcasting studio.
Right. Definitely advanced. Yeah, I'll call it that. It'll make me feel better because it's just way over over where I've dipped into.
Yeah, me too, actually. I haven't learned it yet either.
Yeah.
It's so much fun, just the advanced stuff. I enjoy it. And Renee, I can see you as a shadow host for sure.
Oh, thank you for the vote of confidence, I think.
You brought it upon yourself, Renee. Because like I can tell your energy, your spirit, you're like, look, I can do this. So I'm just kind of showing you what I saw.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I think I'd rather stay to juggling from my perspective, because I figure if I learn enough skills, who knows, with the way things have been going, I may be participating in a circus sometime, as a juggler.
You just might. The world works in funny ways,
Yes,
ironically.
yes.
Do you know how much time we have left?
15 minutes.
I've had something that's on my mind, and I don't know if this breaks the protocol for this autonomy quest, but it is something that I want to introduce to Richard about. You remember Asheville naturally.
Yeah.
Well, a similar situation almost happened right here in Omaha, Nebraska. And I've attended a meeting, and I will only continue if you think it's a good idea. If you don't want me
Well,
to.
if it's something for Richard, maybe waiting for him to be in audience for you to talk to him about it. And so I would encourage you that if you have something you'd like to ask Jerry about autonomy, now's the time to do that. But as far as anything for Richard, he's not here, so it's only
Okay,
fair
okay.
to wait for him to
Well, I
be
then,
around.
see, I don't know the protocols and I don't know exactly,
It's
and
okay.
oftentimes I just sit but a friend of mine and I talked about this for 3 hours today
Yeah.
about what happened right here in my town. And it is very similar, except for some patriots stood up and stopped
I
FEMA.
want to ask though, Bill, are you good? Like everything, are you okay? Like you're in like a
Oh,
good.
yeah, everybody's
Okay.
fine. It's just, I did not attend the meeting. I've been going to this meeting for 10 years. And they got briefed on it by one of the guys that flew in at Offutt Air Force Base with a whole group of Marines that actually stopped the FEMA caravan going into where we had tornado ravishing, terrible damage, worst damage we've ever had in our area.
Hmm.
And at any rate, sorry for going so lengthy on that.
Oh,
But this is
it's
something that Richard needs to know. I first read about it in an article, and then I mentioned it to a friend of mine, and we spent 3 hours talking about it today. And it happened right here. So anyway,
no worries at all, Bill. Thank you for being very respectful and asking. I
no,
appreciate that.
yeah. Sorry about the interruption, Jerry. So,
That's very interesting, Bill. It sounds serious. I hope, yeah, definitely bring it to Richard.
Yeah, I want to hear about that in the Sunday Q&A.
So, Jerry, is there anything that you are looking at in the future that just fills you with excitement?
Yes, well, first of all, I just signed up for How to Become the True Media 2025. So, James, I might see you there. I'm excited for that. Actually, take the course, do the work. Yeah, life is looking up right now, James. I'm living on my own accord. I want to basically upgrade my equipment, learn more skills on video editing, basically content creation, copywriting, graphic design. In the Pro Media course, I know I'll learn all that. Creating a course, I mean, dude, that's a really big one because it's like, all right, what skills do I have? And I've heard Martin might create a course on video editing. So look, I gotta stick around to see that course. And season 12 is still starting, so man, there's still time to kind of, go back to day one in my mind and, maybe take the course again. So,
Not that it matters, but how old are you?
I am 29 years old.
All right,
Oh. All right.
cool.
Yeah, Mark Sower, he actually, we were Wesley Penner, right? After last season ended, he created a Noctalog, and Mark Sower was in it. And I said, look, I can't attend this meeting because it's my birthday. And he said, it's not really your birthday. Let's just you've according to the what's it called, this calendar for the seasons, yes, but in reality, I think yeah. I'm sorry I went on that rant. I am 29 years old, but like my birthday is on the 12th, right? On my birth certificate, but in reality, it's like September 12th or something, or yeah. So just wanted to put that out there.
No, I get it. Like the way that we tell time and everything, and yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down, dude. But you're 29. That's cool.
So you're the best, man.
I identify as a 36-year-old.
Picking up the weights.
Oh, buddy.
So Jerry, I have a question for you. Well, first of all, how are you doing? Good to see you.
Oh, I'm excellent, Carlos. What you got, man?
I was just curious, like, uh, and like how you positioned yourself. Like, did you always have an interest in social media? I know because that's one thing that I know that I've learned a lot from you is like social media aspect of things. Like, so I don't know if you've already mentioned it, but like, can you tell me a little bit about like how you got into that?
Sure. So when I applied to Autonomy Unlimited, the executive director at the time asked me to do that role because it was needed. And I was so scared, dude. I was like, I don't want to mess this up. And it's like everything I did, like I didn't know, I needed feedback. And yeah, anyways, I took a course like when I was here in Merida, Yucatan. And yeah, just basically learning social media management, right? And so yeah, that's what I learned. And I told myself I'm gonna be persistent. I'm not gonna quit on this. And yeah, I just wanted to fulfill that role, although I'm not really the best. I don't have a resume with it, right? But I just said, you know what? I'm learning social media management through YouTube videos, reading some blogs. So I got like the general grammar now of like what done right should look like and how to grow a business theoretically, or not theoretically. It's like how I was taught. And yeah, just basically learned a lot. And I saw, hey, maybe I can do that. And I kind of took a stab at it last season. And I actually worked with you, Carlos, and I learned so much. I think that's how I learned, just diving deep into something. But now I'm better equipped to learn new things, uh, like jujitsu. I basically am not afraid. I'm looking forward to failing. So I hope that answers your question.
It did. And in regards to like your learning, is that something that you want to like to continue to pursue, or is there like other passions that you have?
You know what, bro? Like, learning social media management is what got me the role I have today, I think, because I was reading Gary V's latest ebook, and he was saying like you should be posting 4 times a day. If you're not doing that, you're not like successful. So then that's why I proposed to the team. I said, hey, Richard has this in 7 hour podcast. Hey, what if we take this concept that Gary's putting down and do it? And like we just started doing that. So it's like that knowledge really helped me to have
Wow.
you know, a self-sustaining job. And
Wow, that's
I'm
impressive.
I'm gonna keep learning social media because it is a key component to a business nowadays. Everyone online is online, has uses social media. Most people use social media, and people they tend to look at business as social media, and like it builds trust and all that. Like there's a lot to it. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep learning.
Well, that's pretty cool, Jerry. You saw like an opening. You're like, hey, there's a need not being fulfilled. Uh, why wait around for somebody else to notice that? I've noticed it now. I'm gonna say, hey guys, over here, I got something to say. That's really good.
Yeah, like when I first started, I'm telling you, dude, like so scared, like to send like my image to someone, fear of a you did this wrong or it looks horrible. But yeah, I've gotten past that, and man, just it's graphic design. I know the value of it. What's learned to me is just learn. That's how I get rid of the fear with knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, I won't make the same because knowledge empowers you. So I just wanted to lay that down.
Well, we're
And
approaching
doing.
the close. We're approaching the end of tonight's autonomy quest. Uh, if anybody has any last words for Jerry, now is the time.
So I'm just catching the end of this, but Jerry, what were you thinking about doing a course on? I
That's
know
a
maybe
great
go back to the
question.
beginning, but have you come up with an idea for your course?
All right, so I'm also in another community. What is it called? Sovereign Secrets with Benny Wills, Autonomy graduate, and he has his pitch is how to make $10,000 a month, and the secret is having a course. So I'm excited to take that, but I know he says you like help people do what you already help people do. What you How you help people already, just do that. Like just doesn't have to be complicated. But anyways, I spoke with him and he said I should ask some people I have close relationships with and ask them what advice would you come to me for, and just kind of get that knowledge, and then also fill out a worksheet of his, and then like take it from there to see what kind of course I can help someone with, because he said that we all have a course in us. So
Yeah, man. Well, listening to you here at the end, I mean, it was kind of obvious to me that maybe you should do a course on social media management. I mean, you were already making quotes about it. It's a well-needed skill. Sounds like you've read up on it. You're interested in it, and you're already doing it, and people already do come to you for it, right? Like autonomy.
Yeah, I mean, I help Carlos at the moment. It's kind of a different structure though, because I think we're hopping onto Rumble. But I mean, it's still social media management. So yeah, man.
Yeah, man, maybe a course on that.
Thanks, Alex.
Great.
Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being in attendance to this week's Autonomy Quest. Next week will be the final Autonomy Quest of the season. So same time, same place, and we'll see you there. Check out the chat right now, as is tradition with Autonomy Quest. We've inserted there some links that you can find some free gifts. And in case you're here and you still haven't booked your blueprint strategy call, go ahead and click on that link and get that done. Join us in autonomy as a actual student. And yeah, we will see you next week. And thank you for coming. Goodbye,
So-
everybody.
James, oh,
Yes.
excuse me, did you see my message here?
Yep, I do.
Okay. Thank you.
You got it.
Good job, Jerry, and good job, James. Really amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah.
Thanks, Leah, and everyone in attendance. I'll see you at the lecture, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you and good night or later.
Good night, Renee.